rather than having the old hand-operated drill, which takes a lot of effort, we now go to power drill. Again, lead, because it's powered by electricity. Again, check your leads. If there's any cracks or any damage to the lead, you don't want to electrocute yourself halfway through the job. Now, the first drills that came out, they have a chuck on the front where you put the drill bit in. So what I'll do, I'll open the chuck up. By reversing the drill, you might see the jaws come out. Alright, I'll reverse it again. See, the jaws retract into the chuck and allows you to put a drill bit in. We'll use this one. Alright. Forward. Alright, it catches the drill, and now with what they call a chuck key, it usually comes on the lead with a clip, and you have to tighten the chuck up. Otherwise, the drill bit will not hold and it'll spin, making it non-effective. Now these things here, unfortunately they were part of it. You had to have one of these to operate this successfully. So whenever I got one, I'd get rid of that clip, right, and just keep that in my pocket wherever I am, because if you lose that, you're going to have to buy a new one. And because drill bits, drill chucks vary from size to size to size, you've got to get the right one. So now that the drill is fixed in place, would you believe, make sure the drill goes in the right direction. Because 10 years ago, my boss gave me a young bloke out of high school. I think he was year 11, and they wanted him to have some work experience. So they said, Frank, can you take care of this fella and show him a few tricks of the trade? So I said, right, I need a series of holes drilled in this gable for a wardrobe that I was building. And I said, just drill the holes wherever I've marked it. So he went around drilling and drilling and drilling, and all I could see was smoke coming off the drill bit. And I thought, uh-oh, this bloke doesn't know the difference between forward and reverse. So he had the drill going backwards. So the drill bit doesn't cut anything because the cutting edge goes that way. So he didn't realise that the drill has a forward and a backward, reverse. Okay. So if we want to drill a hole, it only works forward. Put it in reverse, see? Nothing happens. It's like rubbing two sticks together when you want to make a fire. So make sure the drill goes in the right direction by checking the forward and reverse on the bottom if it has one. Some drills are just plain, they don't have forward and reverse luxury. But that's what one of the complications are if you don't know it. So chuck keys, they can be a bit of a nuisance, because if you want to change drill bits, you've always got to take that out and then maybe go for a bigger one. So open the chuck up. I always do that to stop, to save time, and then again I've got to tighten that up. Very tedious sort of work, but it's better than having to use a hand drill. Much better. So I'll put that one back in. Tighten her up. I'll drill that right through. Always use protective eyewear, because you don't know what's going to fly up. Also, when you're drilling a hole, particularly in hardwood, See, the sawdust gets caught in the flutes with hardwood because it's much denser, the fibre, and it won't escape as easily as sawdust here did. So, drill, pull out and clean your flutes out. Otherwise the whole drill gets congested with the waste, and all it does is burns itself through. And you don't want that. So a good successful hole, drill out right through, right? And again, maintain your drill bits so they have a nice sharp cutting edge. Otherwise, again, you are forcing your tool. There is no need to force a power tool if it is sharp, and you will know it straight away that it needs attending to. Now I'm going to take this drill bit out and I'll replace it with the countersink bit. So I'll put that in there. Again, chuck key, and what I'll do, I will countersink this hole to fit this screw. Now I don't need to put too much pressure on it, just the weight of the drill itself will be sufficient to put the screw in to get it flush with the board. If you go too hard and you put too much pressure in, the screw will sink into the wood and you've got this hole that later needs to be either puttied up or plastered over. So just put enough pressure on it. Right. Sometimes I put the drill in reverse if the timber is soft, and it will drag my drill into the material because it is that soft and it gives way real easily. So I put my drill in reverse, right, and it will drill the indentation there. Yes, that's just enough. Put the screw in, and it's nice and flush. So that's what that drill bit is for. It's called a countersink. Now this one here, it's got the countersink built into the bottom. So it will not only drill the hole, but it will countersink in one operation. So I get that with one drill bit. Very nice set of drills to have. And if you're doing furniture, building furniture at home, where you want the screws exposed as a feature, use one of those and it will give you the exact dimensions. Now I mentioned this one before. I showed you how to sharpen them. This is a speed bore or a spade bit, and it will drill you a hole to the size you want to put something in. So I'll just start this up. Now a speed bore, as it's called, it works on speed because it only has two cutting actions. So give it a fair bit of revs. This, put it back and forward. That will not do much. It will give you a rough hole. So get it in position and then give it the works. Again, wait for the drill to stop before you pull it out, because if you pull it out you could stab yourself with it while it's rotating. Again, respect power tools. They demand respect. Otherwise you get hurt. Now, this one here, the Forstner bit, it's used usually on a drill stand because it has that much grip that you don't want to use that in a drill because it could go all over the place, because it usually has to go all the way through for hinges, etc. So for this hole here, I would have used the spade bit to put the barrel in for the lock. Right. That one there would be used in the side to drill a hole about that deep to accommodate a hinge. But you do that on a drill stand where you push the door against the fence so it doesn't move, and then you just bring the drill stand down to the given depth which you can set on the drill stand, and it will give you the same depth of hole every time. So if you have to drill 4 holes into a pantry door, every hole is identical to the other at the same distance off the side, and you can put your hinges in confidence that everything's even. Something else we use is a hole saw. So we've got sawing and drilling all in one operation. So I'll just put that in and give you a demo again. Now this one here, it only has a limited chuck size, so I just got it in. So if it doesn't fit the chuck, then what you need to do is go to a bigger drill that has a bigger chuck and more watts or more torque. So what we've done with this, or what I've done with this, right, again, make sure that the drill goes in the right direction, because the cutting edge on the teeth, very similar to hand saws, they cut in one direction, that's forward. If you turn it to reverse, it will only burn a circle into the timber, but it won't do any cutting. So what I've done, I put that in there. Right, I waited for the drill to stop, and I pulled it out, and that's what came out of that hole. You can see the centre hole. I drilled it from both sides, right, so you don't break out at the bottom and you damage the surface. Because if you go right through, the drill doesn't know that, it'll break it all out and it'll be a damaged edge. That's why I've drilled it from both sides. As you can see, I've left a bit in the middle, and when I felt that it was through, I stopped the drill and pulled it out, and then it was stuck in there, and I just removed it. Now, the next stage comes the keyless chuck. A blessing for the carpenter, because all you have to do is twist it. All right, I'll put it in reverse. You can see the jaws retracting. Put that in. Back to forward. All right, and then twist it just enough to hold the bit in. If it has a hexagonal edge on it, that's even better, because it can't spin. If it's got a round shaft on it, you've got to tighten it a bit more, otherwise it'll slip within the chuck. So, same principle. Right. Now, hear that sound? That's what they call a hammer action. On the top, you've got a lever that goes up to the drill sign. So it will drill, put it to the hammer sign, right, and it will hammer. That means that as it's drilling, the gears in the machine will go up and down like a jackhammer. And that is used primarily in bricks and concrete. So as the drill goes in, you not only drill in, but you also hammer in at the same time. And that gives you a job that takes less time. And the drill bit doesn't get too hot and then perish from the heat. So we just undo it. Again, wait for the machine to stop. So if I do that and then grab it, that will cut me if I get too close. So always wait for the machine to stop, undo the chuck, remove the bit, and then what I do, if I have the time or I think about it, I always close the jaws off so I don't get sawdust and other rubbish inside the chuck. So that was the blessing that came along. It saved us a lot of time and effort to put a drill bit in. or to take it out, and we didn't always have to look for this and then have to go through the trauma of losing it. So these are the basic types of drills, the drill bits that you can get. I'll just show you a set of drill bits that you can have at home. Obviously this big one here, right, which is a 13mm or 1/2 inch, you need a big drill with a big chuck on it. So they'll be the ones that have the handle on the side so that it doesn't pull itself out of your hands. So make sure that you, again, use the drill for which it was designed. Don't overload the machine and use a machine too small for large drill bits, if they still fit, because you'll overload it and you'll want the white burns out. And go for the keyless chuck, because this one, as I showed you, can be a bit awkward. But you wouldn't want to throw them out because they are precious. If you look after them, they last your lifetime.